Okay, so I will be talking about normal interest and compound interest. Starting off with normal interest, which is every time you borrow money from your bank, a specific fee will be charged each year or month. That fee is called an interest, and the interest rate is measured in percent. During the loan, the money borrowed are called the principal. The one who receives the money is called the borrower. The one who gives out the money, which is the bank, is called the lender. And then the formula for the interest is I equals PRT, where I is the interest, P is the amount of money that is borrowed, which is called the principal, R is the interest rate, and T is the time. As an example, you could say that if you wanted to borrow $3,000 for 4 years at a 5% rate, then P would be the $3,000, R would be 5%, which would be written, if you were doing an equation, you would write it down as a decimal number, which is 0.5. And then T would be 4 years. That would make the total interest $600, which is the amount of money charged in total each year for 4 years to pay both the interest and the principal. So that's the simple interest. The compound interest is a little more complicated. An example could be if you've borrowed $1,000 from the bank with a 10% interest rate, which is $110 in total that you have to get back. Then if you want to borrow then if you want to borrow $1,100 right after, the bank won't have to gain. Then if you want to borrow $1,100 right after, the bank won't have gained anything. Therefore, the bank will add another 10% to the principal, which will mean that you have to pay $110 back the next year. Extra the next year. By this system, the bank will work out the interest for the first period, add in the total, and then calculate the interest for the next period. By doing this, the bank will gain something from this, which is only fair since it's business for them and not a free service. This method of calculating the interest is called compounding. This method of calculating the interest is called compounding. You could say that it's like paying interest on interest, where the bank thinks of the owed $100 interest as another loan and charges the interest on it as well. Yes, and then for the assignment that was given, so we have some problems that I'm going to solve in order to demonstrate these things that I've just talked about. So in problem A, Bill deposits $400 into an account at Nice Bank TM and gets an interest of 5%. In the following 20 years, he does not deposit into or withdraw any money from the account. What's the balance of the bank account after 2 years? So, the equation for the compound interest is future value equals present value times 1 plus r to the power of n, where, it's just the present value plus 1, the present value equals 1 plus interest rate to the power of the number of periods equals future value. So, this makes the equation 400 times 1 plus 5 divided by 100 to the power of 2, which gives me the answer 441. So I divided 5 with 100 in order to get a percent value in a decimal number, which I talked about before, so that it matches the other values in the equation. So yeah, that was my conclusion. Now, how long will it take before the balance is $500? So in this problem, we're just going to calculate the time in which it takes to gain our present value. My equation is n equals ln, sorry, my equation, basically my equation is this, which means, well, I mean, I can put my values into the equation because I have the present value and the future value and interest rate. And I want to figure out n, which is the amount of periods. So just putting in my values, as you can see here, and also I wrote eval instead of solve because I want my answer to again to be in decimals. Now I got this answer, which in conclusion means that it takes around 4.5 years for the balance to reach $500. Now, how long will it take for the balance to double? Again, I'm using the same equation because I want to figure out the same thing. I want to figure out how much time it takes to get this certain amount of balance. So I just have to replace 500 with 800 since that's the double value of the initial balance. As you can see here, I replaced it with 800 and I got the answer 14.2. So in conclusion, it would take 14.2 years for the balance to be doubled. And that's basically it.